Well, here we go, gentlemen. I'm going to call this Uncle Doug's Ham Radio Boat Anchor Museum. And here you've got essentially antiques, with a possible exception, but it's getting close, of this old icon. Some of you might remember good old Heathkit. They were about ready to go back into business, but I understand it just didn't work a couple of years ago. Very sad. And of course, those of you who are amateur radio aficionados will remember the infamous Drake 2B. What a reputation this little receiver had. And actually, with that little bit of loop antenna, I have been picking up some people from around the world. Hopefully, before I end this, we'll get somebody online and you'll be able to tell yourself that we have an almost fully restored good old HT37 from Helicrafters. You can see that it's in slightly better condition perhaps than the last time you might have seen it. New case. I've almost got it working. Actually, the story on this one was that a fellow amateur radio operator who had been an electronics engineer decided he was going to improve upon the Vox circuitry and use integrated circuits to do so a few years ago, but unfortunately that wonderful gentleman, who I know had the best of all intentions, passed away and took the secret of his audio with him, so I'm going to have to use my manual and attempt to try to reconstruct that audio circuitry, and we'll hope that I'm going to be able to do a much better job of reading schematics. And of course, and this is for WB6LXR, Richard Glass. I went ahead and pretty much restored the good old National. I'm still looking for the official metallic logo. I don't think it came with it, but I went ahead and painted the external cabinet. I got some of it working. I've got to hook up a really good antenna, and I think perhaps that because of the fact that that S meter is not really registering at all, that perhaps one of the tubes involved in that circuitry can be replaced, and it'll be relatively minor. But having checked out the chassis and also the electronics underneath, looks to me like at some point in time the capacitors had been replaced. I think they were mostly paper when this was first constructed. Now here's an item of interest maybe some of you were unaware of. Believe it or not, and I think it's more than an urban legend, what I went ahead and posted here, I could have done this digitally, but I decided to go ahead and do it old school. This is an advertisement out of an old QST magazine for the NC173, which is what this is. Now you might be able to recognize, and then again you might not, the picture. The picture is of Kon-Tiki, and apparently Thor Heyerdahl used this model receiver in his infamous voyage. Kon-Tiki, can you imagine that? So a rig rather similar to this, if not identical in make and model, not completely identical of course, because I doubt that this was the actual receiver that went aboard the Kon-Tiki. Somebody has that somewhere. But think about it. It resisted salt and all sorts of stuff. Now, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to have to read up on it and see just exactly how they were managing to power this little receiver. But isn't that interesting? I thought so. Well, I'll come back here in just a moment and see whether or not I can get somebody on the old Drake 2B with this really ineffectual antenna. But it amazes me that it even works as well as it does with it.
Oh, no. Oh, please, no. I didn't go there. I'm going to the clinic. It's, if you don't have a right, really insurance, you don't need it. It's much better. It's no waiting time. It's outgoing.
I believe that this gentleman is talking a little bit about what he expects to do during Thanksgiving. Fresh off the Drake 2B.
What's going on? See if she give me something, I guess. It'll be okay. K6KDB's WA602.